Hey everybody, it's Hugh here. It's Dustin DePirac coming to you from the Herald Times office. We haven't done an office scoop talk in a long while.
It's been probably maybe like 6 months, 10 months.
So I think
a long time.
Right. I think the Bill Lynch firing.
I think that was it.
Maybe the last one. Anyways, we were hanging out here Friday afternoon, counting down till we can leave here and enjoy our weekends.
And
because we do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we thought, let's it's the last day of evaluation period. Let's kind of recap the evaluation period.
And just some of the things
we're going to be we're going to be a little bit more organized than we normally are. Top 5 guys that we saw during the evaluation period. Dustin, we'll start with you. Number 1 guy you saw.
Thereafter.
That anybody's committed up thereafter.
Okay, Hollowell. Jeremy Hollowell had an absolutely phenomenal Adidas Invitational. I think he really stepped up in just so many ways. I mean, Hugh obviously wrote the column about, maybe, looking at him the wrong way, I guess. Maybe not necessarily underestimating him, but kind of viewing his just, chilled out way of kind of approaching games as being laziness. And
right.
There's sometimes I still think it is, but what I think you saw more of in Adidas was he was cool, calm, and collected when it came down to the end of games. Made huge shots in a lot of games that were close or they were trailing. He hit some big ones that got him back in games or put him ahead in games. You saw just and a lot more just versatility for him offensively. He really became a stellar offensive player during that tournament.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I didn't get this in my column. The comparison I kind of go back to with guys like Christian is guys like Andrew Jones. I'm a Braves fan. My dad's a Braves fan. And for years, my dad complained about Andrew Jones and how lazy he was. And I always insisted Andrew wasn't lazy. It's just that he could jog and get to the ball the same way that someone else had to sprint to get to the ball. And I kind of think Jeremy falls in that category of, he is so naturally gifted. He's a 6'8", 6'7", 6'8" forward that can really play 4 positions. If you wanted to, he could bring the ball up and get your offense started. And I think when you're that talented, I think Jeremy struggles sometimes to be challenged.
Yeah.
He's been the best guy on his high school team since, maybe not his freshman year, but definitely as a sophomore.
Right.
He played on AAU teams. I remember seeing when he was 15, and he was on a team with Ron Patterson and Austin Berger and Kellen Thomas. Jeremy was the guy that was the most talented. Ron probably was the most intense and most aggressive. But Jeremy was the guy that kind of tantalized you even then. I think that's always been the case. I think what we saw at the Adidas Invitational was a guy who saw a super pool, which he always complains about not having a super pool when he's at a tournament which is not a super pool.
Yeah.
And he relished it. He relished the fact that there was Shabazz Muhammad, that there was Connecticut Basketball Club and Andre Drummond. There's the Atlanta Celtics.
Yeah.
Here are the Houston Defenders. These guards claim they're number 1 and number 10 players in the class in 2013. I'm going to prove them wrong.
Right.
And he admitted it afterwards that he likes it when he's on the floor with other top-ranked guys. He wants to prove that he belongs on that level. And I think what we saw him not only relish it, but be productive and not be shut down by trying
He didn't try to do too much. He was comfortable. He played to the moment.
Right, and the Houston Defenders game I think was really the pinnacle because they were really struggling in that game. Yogi was really struggling getting inside and doing anything.
I think Hunter might have been in foul trouble.
He was in foul trouble. He wasn't really getting. He wasn't getting loose.
Somebody had to hit some shots.
Somebody had to hit some shots, right? And Hollow started making threes, and then they started focusing on him, and that opened up other guys to make threes. And before you knew it, they're up by 20, and they're running away with the thing. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. He's number 1. Number 2.
I still go with Yogi. There were times where he didn't get done as much as he wanted to get accomplished, but he's really just an excellent point guard. He's very good at running a team, and he's that guy that when the clock's running out and somebody just needs to get to the hole, Yogi can get the hole and get a good shot. He doesn't do it every single time, but he can get in that lane, hit that floater, hit that bank shot, throw something up one-handed and get it to go. And he would just absolutely get to the lane and break everything else down.
Yeah, I think the thing with Yogi, he's kind of going this summer. There's a few guys that are all kind of contending to be the number 1 point guard. Yogi's in that group. I don't think he made any ground with the Adidas Invitational, but I thought he was really solid.
Yeah.
He's probably my number 3. I really liked watching Demetrius Jackson play. He's a 2013 point guard from Mishawaka Marion, plays for NBA Select. He's just one of those guys that if he fits a Tom Crean offense, he can really play both guard positions. He just flies up and down the court. He has a pull-up jumper. He can get to the lane. He will shoot the three. He does play defense. He looks for steals.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways, I think he's the guy, if I were on the coaching staff, obviously I'm not. If I were looking at who to offer in 2013 to fill a point guard hole, I think I would look at Demetrius Jackson first, second, and third, and everyone else would be my backup options.
Right. Yeah.
Number three for you.
I did want to talk about Demetrius a little bit, just because I was going to talk about some more elite kids, but I think really the more newsy thing to speak of is those 2013 point guards. And I think Jackson, to us, since you first saw him in May Classic and I got to see him in Adidas, he is the one I think out of the group that stands out. I mean, I think Derek Walton's a very good player, so is Jaylen Brown.
Right.
But Jackson seems like he can do, there's just another element to him. I mean, a lot of it is, I think, is the length. I mean, he's not a super tall guy, but, kind of like one of those long arm guys that you could put out on the perimeter, can, just
because
move really quick,
he
and
attacks
the length.
passing lanes really well because of that
exactly.
length. He can kind of be back from you. There were a couple times I saw him where he was kind of back from the defender, and the defender thought he was okay, but Demetrius could jump out and with his length grab the ball,
get
tap the ball, then go get it.
Right, exactly. And he has varying offensive game. He's a decent outside shooter from what I saw, but he's really good at just kind of the dribble pull up, crossover pull up, that kind of thing. I mean, the mid range game looks like it's really coming along. I saw him hit some fadeaways. He has one of those games that you're not going to be able to just play the dribble with him. I mean, he can shoot over you, he can hit some big shots, and he can do a lot defensively. Really fast. Just really good athlete. And I think out of all of them, he really impressed me. I think of the three guys that we really saw that were straight up point guards, I would take him and then Walton and then Brown.
Right. Would Demetrius be your number three?
No, I mean, I'd still go with Perea because Perea is still...
Because you love Hunter Perea. You love watching Hunter Perea dunk.
Well, you have to. I mean...
Yeah, he brings, still, he's a relatively monotonous experience. You pretty quickly get tired of who's in the gym.
You see everybody at the same level, more or less. It's rare that you're just sitting there and somebody really jumps out at you, but Perea, no matter where you are...
He makes the game fun.
He does.
Because you're just waiting for it to happen. At some point he's going to have a highlight dunk. It's just when it's going to happen. The big one against Atlanta Celtics came in the last couple of minutes. I think that's part of the reason why everyone was so out of their seats about it.
Yeah.
Was that we all were kind of like, oh, maybe it's not going to happen. Oh, that sucks. And then
I thought that was the LA team. That was Gabe York's team, I think.
No, the Atlanta
one
Celtics.
I was at, I wasn't at the Celtics game.
The Celtics game that got circulated online and the dunk that got circulated online was at the Celtics game. I mean, he has great dunks every game.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
So we're
he's
splitting
still coming
hairs.
along in terms of what he can do. Like everyone's gonna ask, okay, well, can he hit a jumper yet? Sometimes not. I mean, I saw him hit a nice turnaround fadeaway. He's working on it. I mean, he realizes that that's the part of his game that needs to get better. He has to have a face-up game. He has to have a back to the basket turnaround jumper. Improve the hook. He can't just live on dunks and transitions. But those are pretty amazing. And I still
right now I think he's John Henson, who does live on dunks and transition and putbacks and just pulls in 15 rebounds a night and blocks 3 shots and is a defensive player of the year guy. I think he can be that guy, and I think there's a certain symmetry there because John Henson's able to do that because Tyler Zeller's next to him.
Right, and
obviously Hunter's going to have another Zeller next to him. So I think there's some symmetry there. I think that can be and IU will be a transition team by then. I don't think there's any doubt with who's going to be on that roster at that point. They're going to try to really fly in a way. Remember, Tom Crean wants to run and hasn't had the bodies to do it.
Right.
He's had to slow it down based on who he has on the floor. I think once that class is there, it's going to be a situation where you just go up and down and you try to outrun some Big Ten teams.
Absolutely.
Dustin, number 4?
It probably would have been Jackson.
Okay, so number 5.
Let's talk a new guy. I'll throw out there and just so we make sure we mention him, but for no other reason, Luke Fisher. Impressed me a little bit at Kentucky. He's a poor man's Cody to a certain extreme. I mean, he's not at that level. Don't presume that I'm saying that he is Cody Zeller by any means. But he's got the same mannerisms. He's got the same type. He wears the same number. He's got
white.
Well, there's that too.
I'm sorry, it's there.
It's there.
Let's not ignore obvious.
So is the entire Wisconsin swing team. They all look.
Well, they're from Wisconsin.
They all look like they should
Did they bring you any? Did they bring you any spotted cow?
They did not. Sadly.
That's really what.
For them. I took them down the notch.
If that team really wanted to get great media coverage, it just brings spotted cow wherever it goes.
Exactly, because that would get us. That would get them ranked really high. But no, I mean he's a pretty good fundamental player, and he has just kind of the same sort of skill set. It's nowhere near the level, but it's the same sort of things. He's got just good footwork in the post, getting better at extending his range. That's something that's slowly coming along. He's still too skinny. He's 6'9", 210. He's got the same sort of frame. It's the sort of frame that you remember seeing from Cody when he was a freshman and sophomore, where you're like, wow, is he ever going to put weight on? He's probably the only person in Wisconsin that needs to put on weight. Did I go there? Probably shouldn't have gone there.
That was mean.
That was probably a little bit harsh. I probably should have gone there. But regardless,
I'm the mean one. You're the nice one. Come on, dynamics.
That was probably mean. Anyway, but he has that. He's developing in that sort of fashion. I don't think he'll ever be at Cody's level, but he can really get up and rebound, defend, just pass out of the double team really well. He has those kind of things. He's playing up a league with guys on his team that are older, and he's not he's not the focal point, but that's probably helping him out as he's he's having to fight for playing time. He's having to fill a role, and he has a chance to be pretty good. Again, I don't think, even at his best, even as a senior, I can't imagine him being on Cody Zeller's level, but he will do the same sort of things at a lower level.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's it. That's 5. So, anyways, July evaluation period, first evaluation period ends today. There'll be a second one. That's really centered around Vegas and Orlando.
Yeah.
We do not go.
No.
Sadly, the HT van does not travel to those faraway destinations.
No.
We'd have to leave now.
Yeah, that's true.
Number one. But we will be keeping you abreast of everything on Twitter and the blog. Yeah, and we'll be talking to guys in the next couple of days to see who they've heard from.
Right. And Elite's about to play in a final right now as we're taping this.
Yeah, as we're taping this, it'll be loaded and whatever. But anyways,
true. But 1 minute from where we're taping this thing.
Anyways, they're on schedule because AU's events are always on schedule. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always.
Yep.